Hello, everyone. Welcome back to India Business Insights. Today, we have something special for all the automobile enthusiasts out there. We are diving deep into the business landscape of one of the giants in the automotive industry, Maruti Suzuki. In this video, we will look at how it all began, what was the status of Indian automobile industry then and now, and we may also discuss what may lie in store for the Indian industry. While we will also have an in-depth look at its models in our later video, we will have a quick look at its current models. We will also look at its business strategy, its facilities, and its financials. Maruti Suzuki India Limited, formerly Maruti Udyog Limited, is the Indian subsidiary of Japanese automaker Suzuki Motor Corporation. Maruti Udyog Limited was initially the venture of Sanjay Gandhi, which failed to take off. After the Congress government under Indira Gandhi came back in 1980, the government took over the defunct company and funded it as a PSU and invited international car manufacturers to start manufacturing in India in a JV. The response from most majors was tepid. Suzuki was then more a two-wheeler company and distant second-tier car manufacturer in Japan, behind Toyota, Honda, Nissan, and others. It was, however, well known for its small cars. The Government of India established Maruti Udyog Limited in February 1981 as a joint venture with Suzuki Motor Corporation as a small partner. The Government of India partially departed the business in 2003 and then sold all of its remaining shares to Suzuki Motor Corporation in 2007. To truly grasp Maruti Suzuki's current standing, it's essential to explore its history, from its partnership with Suzuki Motor Corporation to its initial models and market entry strategies. Understanding the past sets the stage for evaluating its present and future. Before we go further, please hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to stay updated with our latest content. Our young team does put in a lot of efforts in bringing these videos to you. Your support will encourage us in making even greater efforts. Maruti entered the market when the industry had two significant car manufacturers, namely Ambassador and Premier Padmini, who were making models which were phased out elsewhere decades ago. There was a third manufacturer, Standard Herald. All these companies made a few thousand vehicles each year. Maruti entered in what was a total seller's market. Indeed, its initial booking received several times the number of applications as its planned first-year production. It was established with a dream to provide the joy of mobility. With a humble start of manufacturing about 20,000 cars in a year, the company has grown leaps and bounds, manufacturing close to 2 million cars a year in financial year 2022 to 23. Over the last 4 decades, the company has served over 27 million happy customers in India and around 100 countries of the world. Key milestone model launches. Local production commenced in December 1983 with the introduction of Alto-based Maruti 800. This launch was a spectacular success, with the initial booking receiving a huge number of applications, several times the planned annual production. The initial car offered a regular and an AC option. ACs in cars were uncommon until then. There were long waiting lists for the car and very large unofficial premiums, often as much as 100% of the value of the car. So at this time, the company started releasing a much more expensive deluxe variant of the car. This came with factory-fitted AC, a music system, and slightly better interiors. In 1984, the Maruti van with the same 3-cylinder engine as the 800 was released, and the installed capacity of the plant in Gurgaon reached 40,000 units. This Maruti van was again a big success with a large unofficial premium. It came in a low roof and a high roof version. The Suzuki SJ410 based Gypsy, a 970cc 4-wheel drive off-road vehicle, was introduced in 1985. The Gypsy enjoyed a large retail success and was also adopted by several police forces in the country. The 100,000 car manufactured by the firm was 796cc hatchback Suzuki Alto SS80, which succeeded the original 800 in 1985. 1986. In 1987, the company started exporting to Western markets when a lot of 500 cars were sent to Hungary. In 1989, the Maruti 1000 was introduced and the 970cc 3-box was India's first contemporary sedan. In 1993, the Zen, a 993cc engine hatchback, was launched. And in 1994, the 1298cc Esteem sedan was introduced. In 1998, the new Maruti 800 was released, being the first change in design since 1986. Zen D, a 1527cc diesel hatchback, Maruti's first diesel vehicle, and a redesigned Omni were also introduced. In 1999, the 1.6-liter Maruti Baleno 3-box sedan and Wagonar were also launched. In 2003, the new Suzuki Grand Vitara XL7 was introduced, while the Zen and the Wagonar were upgraded and redesigned. In 2004, the Alto became India's best-selling car, overtaking the Maruti 800 after nearly 2 decades. The 5-seater Versa 5-seater, a new variant, was created while the Esteem was relaunched. The 1.3 Suzuki Swift 5-door hatchback was introduced in 2005. It also launched SX4 in 2007, and the Desire was launched in 2008 and was based on the first generation Swift hatchback. The model launches of Maruti accelerated post 2005. While Maruti started as a small car manufacturer, today it takes its role as the all-round market leader in India. As a part of this leadership, it has extended its product range to larger sedans, SUVs, MUVs, off-road vehicles, and is a credible competitor in all, except the very high-end luxury cars. Some of the major product launches in this period as under. This period also earmarked significant manufacturing and other investments. Many of the current models were initially launched in this period. So today, apart from the Wagonar, Alto, and Swift hatchbacks and their various variants, the company launched Celerio, Ignis, Baleno, and Espresso hatchbacks. It added Ciaz, a new sedan, in 2014 to add to Swift Desire launched in 2005. It also added Franks in 2023 SUV/crossover to the Brezza, launched in 2016. It launched the Grand Vitara in 2022. It also launched Jimny, an off-road SUV, in 2023. Eco, launched in 2010, Ertiga in 2012, XLS XL6 in 2019, along with Invicto, launched in 2023, complete its MUV range. It also has Super Carry commercial vehicle, which is a small pickup truck. While some of the older iconic models have long since been retired, most people over 40 remember these with a lot of nostalgia. We will do a separate video looking at the previous and current models of Maruti in a future video. Let's talk about management and evolution. The company worked rather successfully, even as a JV, between the Government of India and the Japanese partner, that is Suzuki. V.K. Krishnamurthy was the first managing director of the company and later also became the chairman, after Mr. Moolgaonkar resigned after a brief stint as the chairman. Mr. R.C. Bhargav was the CEO and later also the chairman, position which he continued to hold even today. Mr. R.C. Bhargav, of course, has been honored in India as well as Japan and is largely credited for making it a success that it is today. So, we have seen earlier that while its cars had long waiting lists and had an excellent start in the Indian markets, the initial years were not without problems. There were complaints of after-sales service, high cost of replacement parts, and the biggest problem was the rise of Japanese yen against rupee. To counter this, particularly from the late 1980s, the company launched a rapid indigenization program and helped establish a large ecosystem of local parts manufacturers in India. The sales organizations were expanded, mechanics were trained to offer third-party servicing, parts were made available for the after-sales services markets. This vastly made the lifetime ownership costs much more affordable and increased the markets dramatically. While the company grew well even as a joint venture, Suzuki had a long-standing demand to own majority stake in the company. Maruti was privatized in 2008 2002, and the majority shareholding was transferred to Suzuki. Thereafter, the government sold its stake. Rapid expansion of the company started thereafter. While we have seen new models were launched post 2002, the speed of the new model launches increased after India entered a high growth trajectory post the global recession in 2008 to 9. This is the period also when Suzuki decided to shift production of certain products to India for the global markets. Apart from the change of ownership pattern, the government significantly liberalized the import policy for automobiles in India. As a part of our entry into WTO, we had to provide market access. So several new manufacturers entered Indian markets. Maruti Suzuki, even after almost 3 decades of facing competition, remains the largest Indian automobile company. While the company was one of the many Japanese companies which came to India in the early and mid-90s, Maruti was the largest. It brought several Japanese business practices to India. These got more widespread as many of the suppliers of Maruti as well as of the two-wheeler and LCV companies. Some of these included just-in-time inventory management, developing a large number of vendors who were considered partners. In fact, the modern system of supply chain management may have evolved largely due to the contribution of Maruti and similar companies. Even the concept of egalitarian management, senior executives eating in common cafeterias along with the workers, company uniform also came with Maruti and the other Japanese companies. While Maruti established many of these practices and has paid extremely well, it has had its share of industrial unrest, particularly in Gurgaon and Manesar. Maruti is the undisputed leader of the Indian automobile industry. Even with a dozen or so active players in the Indian market, the company still has 40% plus market share. Not only Maruti has successfully held large market share in India, it has helped significantly expanded the Indian market. The Indian automobile industry is one of the country's largest and most dynamic industries. It encompasses a wide range of vehicles, including passenger cars, commercial vehicles, two-wheelers and three-wheelers. The auto industry accounts for 49% of India's manufacturing gross domestic product and 7.1% of its overall GDP. The Indian auto market was ranked the third largest globally as it overtook Japan in 2022 and the fourth largest manufacturer of commercial vehicles in 2023. It is projected to increase by 7 to 10% in the next fiscal year. The domestic demand for automobiles in India has been steadily increasing. Factors such as a growing middle class, increasing disposable income, improved road infrastructure, and easy access to finance have fueled the demand for vehicles. ICRA, an independent investment information and credit rating agency, reports that in the fiscal year 2024, industry growth will be passenger, which will be around 6 to 9%, commercial 7 to 10%, two-wheelers 6 to 9%, three-wheelers 4 to 6%. We expect growth across automotive industry segments to remain at high single-digit levels in FY 2024, while the passenger vehicle, commercial vehicle, and tractor segment volumes would continue to trend upwards, aided by favorable demand drivers. The two-wheeler industry is also expected to record moderate growth in volumes aided by a low base. Additionally, the 2023 to 24 Union Budget focuses on India's transition to sustainable transportation alternatives, spiking a growing interest of automotive companies. In the next decade, the electronic vehicle is slated to take center stage. The Economic Times reported that by 2030, 80% of two- and three-wheelers, 40% of buses, and 30 to 70% of cars in India will be EVs, including all government-owned vehicles. Put simply, the automotive industry is charged and ready to roll in India. Let's talk about market position and competition. The company kept the market excited by introducing new products and technologies throughout the year. It introduced 3 new models, 4 product refreshers, and extended CNG powertrain to 6 more models. Besides, the company introduced one of the world's best strong hybrid electric technologies with Grand Vitara. The company strengthened its product lineup, especially in SUV segment, with the launch of Grand Vitara and Brezza. As As a result, the company's market share in SUV segment increased to 17% by the end of financial year, from single digit at the start of the year. Both the models received an overwhelming response from the market and continue to remain on the wait list. The company also introduced two more new SUVs, Fronx and Jimny, which are also witnessing a runaway success. There were some doubts in the market about the company's ability to effectively sell the high price range products. By making Grand Vitara and Invicto successful, the company proved its ability and established its brand in that segment. With the success of these products, the company is confident of achieving number one position in the SUV segment in financial year 23 to 24. Indian automobile industry continued to witness increasing preference towards SUVs. Though the hatchback segment grew at a slower pace than the SUV segment, it continues to command a sizable volume and remains relevant in the Indian market. With fast changing market preferences, the company's efforts are focused towards making systems, processes, and facilities more flexible. The company continued to expand the network to enhance customer convenience. In FY 2022 to 23, 263 sales outlets primarily in non-urban markets and 310 service touchpoints at a rate of almost one service touchpoint per day were added. Digitalization initiatives also helped enhance customer convenience. Virtual reality initiative helped us deliver showroom experience to customers at the comfort of their homes, especially in non-urban markets that are still to be covered by the sales outlets. Online car financing initiatives saw an overwhelming response, with over 30% of its customers financing their cars through this mode. The top competitors of Maruti Suzuki are Honda, Toyota, Nissan, Hyundai, Fiat, Mitsubishi, Chevrolet, Tata Motors, Skoda, Volkswagen, Ford, and Volvo. Let's look at production capacity and manufacturing facilities. The company has two state-of-the-art manufacturing facilities located in Gurugram and Manesar in Haryana, capable of producing 1.5 million units per annum. Highly efficient, lean manufacturing processes, together with a skilled and motivated workforce, enables manufacturing of reliable and quality products. Suzuki Motor Gujarat Private Limited (SMG), a subsidiary of SMC, was set up in Hansalpur, Gujarat, to cater to the increasing market demand for the company's products and has been operational since 2017. SMG has an annual production capacity of 0.75 million units. The company's combined production capability, including SMG, is around 2.25 million units per annum. The company is responsible for the sales and distribution of units produced at the SMG facility in Gujarat. The company has recently initiated the process to merge the Gujarat subsidiary with itself. Challenges faced by Maruti Suzuki over the years. No business journey is without challenges. We'll turn some of the hurdles Maruti Suzuki has faced over the years. Competition in the Indian market. Maruti Suzuki faces intense competition from both domestic and international automakers. Sustaining market leadership in the highly competitive Indian automotive market requires continuous innovation and strategic positioning. Economic fluctuations. The automotive industry is sensitive to economic fluctuations. Economic downturns can lead to a decrease in consumer spending on big ticket items like cars, affecting sales. The recent COVID downturn affected more automobile manufacturers as they saw a decline in their production. Maruti has since then recovered. Changing consumer preferences. Consumer preferences in the automotive industry are dynamic. Maruti Suzuki must adapt to shifts in preferences for vehicle types, features, and fuel efficiency. Supply chain disruptions. Global events, natural disasters, or geopolitical issues can disrupt the supply chain, affecting production schedules and the availability of components. In the last 2 years, a significant part of the production cuts at Maruti were attributed to severe shortages of semiconductors. The other challenges faced by the automotive industry, including Maruti, have been regulatory challenges related to safety standards and other aspects. Changes in regulations can necessitate adjustments in manufacturing processes and product offerings. Technological advancements. Rapid advancements in automotive technologies such as electric vehicles, autonomous driving, and connectivity features. Labor relations. Managing labor relations and avoiding disruptions in production due to strikes or other labor related issues is a challenge that large manufacturers like Maruti Suzuki must navigate. Maruti has experienced several labor problems. They faced strike the first time around 2000 when the workers went on strike demanding high wages, incentives, and pension. The labor issues peaked around 2012 when the company saw violent protests where one of the senior managers lost his life. While Maruti may not have specifically said this, but the new Gujarat plant is seen by analysts as a strategic response to the industrial relations issue in Haryana. It's important to note that Maruti Suzuki, being an industry leader, has demonstrated resilience by addressing challenges through strategic planning, innovation, and adaptation to market dynamics. The company's ability to navigate these challenges is often a result of its commitment to quality, customer satisfaction, and continuous improvement. For the latest and most accurate information, it's recommended to refer to the company's official reports and statements. Now let's look at the financials. While the turnover of the company and production has declined in the recent years, and it is now only since 2021 to 22, it has started recovering. The financials of Maruti continue to remain strong. It is rated AAA. The company has no long-term debt. It has a very strong cash generation capacity and a very small working capital debt. Further, when its turnover declined after FY 2019 and 2020 and 2021, it recovered and just about reached the 2019 levels in FY 2022. It has thereafter reported a jump in operating revenues from rupees 83,798 crores in FY 22 to rupees 1,12,500 crores in FY 23. The profits have also jumped to rupees 10,159 crores. While this is marginally short of its peak profits of rupees 10,465 crores, it has seen profit improvements continue in the first two quarters of the current financial year. The company registered net sales of rupees 6,63,803 in the first half. The net sales in the previous year first half were at rupees 5,38,298 million. The company made a net profit of rupees 62,016 million in the first half this year as against rupees 30,743 million in the first half of the previous year. The company could increase prices for some of its models, and the company also experienced some easing of commodity prices. Further, the growth in turnover and operational efficiencies contributed to this large jump in profitability. Future outlook of Maruti Suzuki. The company is now planning to increase the manufacturing capacity by another 2 million cars a year by FY 2030 to 31. The required investments will all come from internal resources. While they do not expect the car industry to grow in double digits like what happened in China in the past, they do expect that a 6% growth rate will be maintained till FY 2030 to 31. In FY 2023 to 24, company expects to grow at a slightly higher rate. Along with the rising domestic demand, the prospects for exports are also expected to continue to improve. The exports rose to 259,000 units last year. They expect the demand for exports to continue to grow, and export volumes are projected at 750,000 to 800,000 cars by FY 2030 to 31. Work is progressing at the first site in Kharkhoda, Haryana, and it is expected that the first plant of 250,000 capacity will start production in the first half of 2025. Thereafter, one similar plant will be added each year to reach a capacity of 1 million. At the same time, they are in the process of selecting a second site for adding another 1 million capacity by FY 2030 to 31. By FY 2030 to 31, Maruti could have about 28 different models. Clearly, the organization and systems for selling such a large variety of cars will require changes from what exists at present. The development of electric vehicles is proceeding well at the Gujarat facility. The company expects to start the sale of the first model in 2024 to 25. By 2030 to 31, they expect to have 6 EV models. These models are expected to comprise 15 to 20% of the total sales by that time. The message from director: with expanding capacity, offering multiple carbon reduction technologies, bringing many new products, we are writing a new chapter in the history of the company. Maruti Suzuki Mobility 3.0. Maruti's mission is to provide the joy of mobility to as many people as possible while keeping the environment and society in harmony. We welcome you to be a part of this journey. If you found this video informative, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with your fellow automotive enthusiasts. Subscribe for more content on business research, industry insights, and the latest trends. Thanks for joining us today on India Business Insights.